Humans have intersectionality.
That's a hermaphrodite.
Something that's male and female.
Okay, so that's two. You're further making my point.
Right, but
show me something with 3 or 4 or 5 genders.
Hermaphrodite is a type of sex where you have combined chromosomes of male and female.
Of what?
Male and female.
That's 2.
Combined.
Amen. That's 2, and that's my point. There's only 2. Now that's my point. There's only 2. You'll never see a non-binary zebra. You'll never see a 2-spirit horse. Amen. You'll never see a frog that thinks he's a monkey.
You guys spoke and I listened. I'm making all the bathrooms at my concerts not only gender neutral, but species neutral. I will be providing litter boxes in the bathrooms for all animal identifying concert goers on my tour. Now that's inclusivity in action.
The fact that I don't know if this is real or not is proof of how far gone we really are.
And all of this is happening with this infectious idea that's taking over, of this idea of parents' rights, that parents have a right to know. They have a right to know if their child is going by a different name or using different pronouns in school. And the thing that keeps hitting me about this is that parents don't have rights, not parents' rights. Kids have rights. Individuals have rights. We have seen in our legal and justice systems that the decisions that parents make can be legally overridden by their children. Children who are old enough to understand a concept are old enough to provide their own independent consent to that. And if a kid knows what pronouns are, then frankly, they're able to consent to changing their own pronouns, and their parents do not need to be involved in that decision.
I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. These people are insane, and all you need to do is look at the eyes. Look at these eyes. Just a window to nothing. These people are crazy. Anyway, let's get to the main part of the video.
Is Joe Manchin, senator from West Virginia, is he a racist?
I can't comment on that.
Okay, what about Mark Kelly from Arizona?
Similarly, cannot comment on that.
Maggie Hessen,
also
senator
cannot comment.
New Hampshire? Okay, can't comment on their being a racist or not. How about Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada?
Likewise, Mr. Rowe.
Okay, can't comment on whether they're racist or not.
I don't have an opinion as to the matter.
Okay, because you called me a racist. And you called me a racist because I said that Title 42 should be enforced. Something, by the way, that this administration did to the tune of over 1 million people.
2.5 million people, actually.
Right. So this administration is racist?
I believe this administration has made a number of failures on the racial justice front.
So the Biden administration is racist?
I can't comment as the administration in general.
Good to know. Good to know that the Biden administration is racist and get that on the record. But to throw around words like racist, let me ask you a question. Is my friend Henry Cuellar, is he a racist?
I can't comment on that.
Right, because Henry Cuellar said the border community is very concerned about Title 42 being lifted. The senators I just listed said that Title 42 should have stayed in place. Now, my personal view is that Title 42 wasn't the thing that needed to stay in place, that what ought to be in place is an actual border security that secures the border. Mr. Wolf, people who want to enforce Title 42 believe that there was a reason that Title 42 was put in place, but they also recognize that Title 42 is in fact a Band-Aid on a very broken system where the laws were not being enforced otherwise.
Title 42, which is a public health act in the US, and it basically grants authorities emergency powers to prevent the spread of diseases, and then they tried to stop it, and I think they did successfully stop it last year. And a lot of people were saying, well, if you stop it, you see the situation at the border, you've got no solutions for that. Keep this in place, at least that's a temporary solution, which you can understand that argument, I get that, but then you've got people like this guy who's basically saying, oh no, if you want to keep it in place, then you're a racist, basically getting called out for it, and then when he does, he can't even stand behind his own words. So that says a lot about him. Beta! They are all cowards. They will say crap like this behind your back, but cower in front of you, call people names and ad hominem attacks, refuse to answer simple questions because they know their bullshit can't survive an inquiry of simple deduction and logic. They can't even be intellectually honest or consistent.
Do you date someone who's plus size?
Who's fat?
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. Not trying to be rude, but me personally, I don't like fat girls. I just don't want to come home to a fat.
The vegan Nikes on right now, they look like real animal skin, but they're made out of vegan alternatives, and we don't need to be...
You're confident they weren't made with very cheap child labour?
Well, they do claim that they're sustainable and ethical, so I try to live my life as ethically as possible. Unfortunately, it's impossible to be 100% cruelty-free in this very violent and non-vegan way.
If you want to be completely cruelty-free, then you could just make your own shoes. But the truth is, these people, they only care about certain things. She cares about animals. She probably doesn't really care. Even if she found out her shoes were being made from cheap child labour, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't care. Because a lot of these people, I've noticed, actually care more about animals than they do other human beings.
Than you because you are white. I don't need you to look at me and feel bad for me because of the color of my skin. And that's effectively what you're doing every time you take an application. You say, oh, well, this girl's black, so I kind of feel bad for her, so I'm going to put her at the top of a line. It's just not necessary. You are basically saying that black Americans cannot do it on their own.
I'm of mixed background. What am I supposed to mark on an application? Am I supposed to mark multiple boxes?
Mark black.
That's a terrible thing to tell someone to do.
Well, it's the truth because you believe in affirmative action. So I said mark black. I'm in an interracial relationship, so I can speak to this. I have a son that's half white and a son that's half black and a daughter that's half white and half black. Okay. They're going to mark black because I know that there are people like you at the universities who will say, well, because this person is black, I'm just going to let them in.
No, they're going to mark black because they're black.
Well, they're half black and half white. They're both. Yes. What are you going to look at that applicant as a little bit less because they're half white? How do you guys figure that out?
Holistically, across a number of different factors.
I love me a buzzword. Holistically and racial consciousness.
Oh, yeah? Reverse discrimination is a buzzword.
It's not reverse discrimination. It's just discrimination. It's just racism if you're judging people on the basis of their skin color.
So before we go any further, I just want to highlight and say this guy is a doctor. Which is insane because, I mean, I just don't understand how you can get that far. They just must be giving out degrees to anyone in this day and age. But anyway, he got completely smoked basically by facts and logic. It's not hard. That's all you need to do is apply a little bit of common sense and these people just crumble every single time. Now, somebody made a really good point to me when I discussed this with them. They said, well, if you're trying to say someone has barriers because of their race, if we're considering the truth, which is Asian Americans actually are the most privileged by that definition because they're the highest earners and things like that, then if you had someone like Kobe Bryant's daughter, then she should be deemed as having a barrier just because she's black, and then comparing her to some, I don't know, a poor Asian kid with a mum who's on food stamps, that kid shouldn't be seen as privileged just because he's Asian. That doesn't make any sense at all, and this is basically their argument, which is completely ridiculous, and that's why basically nobody agrees with it.
Dana, I just want to go back. You were talking about, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, you know, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
I'm like...
Free speech. I control what people say. Gonna tell people what to believe. Gonna tell people... I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want. And I don't think there's any... We had two gay women who fought in the co-main event. They sat on the stage with Sean Strickland. They could give a shit what Sean Strickland thinks or what he says or what his beliefs are or what his opinions are. You know what I mean? Go ahead. What do you got?
Anyway, that's it. That's the end of the video. If you liked it, make sure you like, share and subscribe. And yeah, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.